live in a house where sound travels from one room to another, because literally I am struggling with this. Hey loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. This is probably like the third take today, but this time around we're actually going to film this video. So in today's video I'm going to be answering one of the questions that I get a lot of times, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to give it to you people, and that is how I edit my photos. But here's the thing, I'm not just going to tell you how to edit your photos, I'm also going to tell you things to do to make sure that you get good photos. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk to you through the process, the creation and the post-production, as well as things that I do, and also share resources for you at the end, just in case you need someone to do the hard work for you to get it done. So without talking too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing is, you've decided you want to create photo content, which is amazing, and like it's one of the most interesting, exciting things ever. But like, what type of content are you trying to create? So you have to first of all think if you're creating beauty type content, or you're creating lifestyle, or you're creating fashion. These are things you want to always consider. Or you're even creating food content. You always want to consider these things, and then based off what you're creating, that would influence the kind of pictures that you decide to take. For a food photo, you want to make sure that you've done a setup, you've arranged the food in a pleasant manner. I'm not a food photographer, so I can't really speak to that. But then if it's like a beauty shoot, you want to make sure that you've done your makeup right, you have good lights coming at you, you're wearing something that lets your skin shine. So if I wanted to put like a beauty photo, I wouldn't leave my hair covering, I would take my hair off my face so that you could really see my makeup properly. Now if it's fashion content, you know that the focus of whatever photo you're taking has to be your outfit. So you don't want your makeup to be like too distracting or too loud, or you don't want to have maybe a background that so much is going on that the background drowns out the outfit that you're trying to put out there. Yeah, now if it's lifestyle, which is what I kind of like to create, it's like, what mood are you trying to convey? So is it like laid back, is it like doing something, is it like, yeah, laid back or doing something, kind of. Those are like the two places. So is it any of those things? So all those things will then inform the kind of photos that you put together, as this is what is kind of inspiring what I'm trying to create. Right, so after you've done that, you want to make sure that you have good lights. So because now, especially I'm creating from home, I literally flipped my bed the other way. So this is my headboard right here. I don't know if you guys can see, but to face my window. So right now I am sitting in front of my window and the light is hitting me directly. So no matter whatever I'm trying to create, I'm using my window as my source of light. So it's really important to have good light. Good light can make or mar your photos. Now after having good light, the next thing is like all the components, all the elements that are in your photos. Like for example, if I had a random black thing there, or like a random green thing there, I know that that would distract you guys. You don't want to have anything that's like, you know, distracting the background. You want to make sure that your background is clear and clean. Now after doing that, you go ahead and you take your photo right here. This is the photo. It's not the one, it's not taken in real time, but like this is a photo. So I'm going to walk you through how I edit this photo, and I am going to walk you through how I edit this photo. Now you've created this gorgeous photo, and then it's time to edit it and make it look how you want it to look. So this photo was actually taken right in this corner in my bedroom. It was taken right in this corner in my bedroom. So I'm going to show you guys what I like to do when I edit my photos. So the first thing that I do when I have my photo is, I have two ways I like to do it. So depending on what it is I'm trying to highlight in the photo, I either edit first in Lightroom and then take it to FaceTune, or edit in FaceTune and take it to Lightroom. Now for this photo, I edited in FaceTune and then I took it into Lightroom. So this is like one of my photos that everyone really loved. I even had my friends call me and be like, wow, this photo is so great, blah blah. But then the interesting thing about this photo is that it was taken in my bedroom. which I didn't spend so much money to create, but everyone seemed to like. I'm just going to show you guys this photo on my screen. I guess you might have seen the photo before, but let's just, you know, edit. So the photo is showing right here. Good. So the first thing I like to do is I go into FaceTune, and then when I go into FaceTune, I kind of like look at the photo to have an understanding of the things that I want to highlight in the photo. So in this photo, I want to highlight my lashes. So I go in with details, and then I just make touch, like tap my brows as well, so that it's really shiny. Now after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is I go in and I whiten the walls of my photos. So for whitening the walls of your photos, some people say you have to tap. I like to just swipe and just shade it all, like make it super white. This is when I'm like editing in, what's it called, in FaceTune first. So I use the FaceTune one, not FaceTune 2. You have to be like really careful so that you don't whiten things that don't need to be whitened. So yeah, I'm pretty much done like whitening the entire background. So another thing I like to do is just zoom in a lot and then take the blur tool and just go over my skin a bit. Just like tap in. So when you're blurring, you want to tap. You're not even playing games, sis. Like, you don't want to make your face look airbrushed. Just like tap everywhere. And then after doing that, one thing I always do is I like to whiten my teeth, guys. I've never whitened my teeth in my life before, and it's just something that I really like, white teeth, and I don't have white teeth. But photography, I mean, like my teeth looks white here, but it's like a little like soft cream. Yeah. So but then photography lets me have the white teeth that I want. So yeah, this is it. And then we export it, and we're taking it into Lightroom where the magic happens. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I did create presets, and presets are things in Lightroom that you can just paste on your photos. Like, put your photo in Lightroom, put everything on it, so the colors are already done, the lighting, all of that, and then you can just decide to change the light to suit the type of image that you're trying to create. But then I'm just going to edit one photo in Lightroom for you guys so that you can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to import this photo that I just edited in Lightroom, and as with all my photos, the first thing I like to do is kind of work on the lights. So do I want it to be really exposed or contrasted? Most times with contrast, I just amp it up a bit to like maybe 18, so like the colors are really popping. And then after doing that, I go ahead to increase the highlights a bit. For blacks, I like to deepen so that my photos have a bit of depth to them. And then for blacks as well, deepen again. And then for whites, just brighten it a bit. Like, take whites up so that it's bright, and then deepen black so that it's, you know, deeper. Now after doing that, exposure I'm really fine with because the light that comes in from my window is really good, so like that's fine. I don't even need to do too much. Okay, so after doing that, I go in with colors. So in colors, you have a lot of control. Like, do you want your photos to appear warmer, or do you want your photos to appear cooler? I like a little warmth but not too warm, so I just take my warmth up a bit to like 4, especially because of like my skin, because it helps my skin. For tints, I'm just going to do a bit of pink. Actually, I feel like I should do green. No, I don't like green. No, I'll just do a bit of pink. So for vibrance, I just usually do vibrance at 4, and then saturation, just do it a bit at like 6, 7. So here you can see like all the colors already coming through and that. So then I then go into like the real color palette to kind of control the other colors. So I like reds popping, but I'm not going to amplify the red in this photo just because like I want my skin and like everything to just look normal. But then I'm going to go to the greens, and I'm going to take them down because this lemon green here isn't the green that I'm wearing in this outfit, so it just makes it look, you know, any other green haze is kind of gone. The next thing I do is blues, but then there's no blue in this photo. So okay, so there's no blue in this photo, but then Lightroom is kind of reading my trousers as blue instead of green. So yeah, you need control. So I decide, do I want to make it like a different color? So here I'm just going to make my trousers teal, but this is not the actual color of it. I'm just going to change the color just so that you guys can see what sort of control you have over your photos in Lightroom with the color thing. And then saturation, you can make it really outstanding or not. The only color in this photo is literally green. So, and like I'm not like controlling it too much, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at and save it. And then the next thing I do is go on into clarity and just bring the clarity up to like maybe 9. And then after doing that, just put the grain up a bit to like 10. And then go to detail and just kind of like increase the sharpening, and then reduce the noise, the color noise, just in case like there is noise in any of the colors. I always turn on this enable lens correction thing. I just always turn it on, and that is it practically. I am done editing this photo. So this is kind of like what I do with my photos. I don't even do too much just because of like that's the vibe that I'm going with. But I really like Lightroom because Lightroom gives you control over color. So if you have a good understanding of color, so whatever theme you have, if you're trying to make your reds really pop with Lightroom, you can make sure that your red is more saturated than every other color that you have. So I have finished editing this photo, so I'm just going to export it right away. But then I am not someone who is like really huge on editing, so I make sure that I take really good photos so that I'm able to edit it. But I'm just going to show you how some of my presets could transform your photos. So look right here and see like how this one preset was used on like these photos. My window is right there behind me. So one thing you want to make sure is you're kind of like figuring out what poses you're trying to make. So say I'm trying to do an outfit pose and I'm trying to show this gorgeous dress. So I would just, you know, be like, okay, or I want to like play with something, you know, just kind of have an idea of all those things you want to do. What I'm going to talk about in this video is how to maintain a cohesive and aesthetic feed. Now that's like really tricky because this could mean different things to different people. My understanding of cohesive and aesthetic is just like things that go well together. I don't really know, I would not say that I have an aesthetic but for a cohesive feed, just make sure that you're putting things that go well together. So before actually publishing a photo on Instagram, I do this weird thing. I'm about to get a bit technical here, guys. Okay, so I do this weird thing where I look at the number of photos on my Instagram feed. So if it's like 3,000 for example, and I divide it by 3 and I get a number that ends with 0, I know that my grid is complete. But then if I divide the number by 3 and I get like a number that ends with 1 or 2, I know that if it ends with 1, it's the first post on a grid, on a row rather, and if it ends with 2, it's the middle post on a grid that is the last post. But then if you don't want to worry yourself with these numbers like I've just mentioned like a crazy person, you could download apps like Unum or Planoly. I use both actually. I don't know which one do I prefer. Unum is sometimes crazy and Planoly has its own fair share of craze, so I use both of them. I have both of them on my phone and I just use both of them to, you know, like plan and see what my feed might look like. I also do this thing where because now I'm into creating lifestyle content, I try to make sure that I don't have too many photos of my face together or too many photos of me together. So I try to pace out photos of myself with like photos of inanimate objects, but then that either have sort of like matching colors or like matching vibes. So that's how I try to maintain a feed that looks cohesive and put together. And I think it's really important to have a feed that sort of looks like that. But then it also depends on like what your niche is, what kind of content are you creating, what kind of brands are you trying to attract. So I'm not saying that if your Instagram doesn't look in a certain way, you're wasting your time. That's not what I said, though. That's not what I said. It is not what I said, though. I said it's good to have your feed, you know, look put together, especially if you're on like fashion or lifestyle. Yes, those feeds, those niches, it's good to have a good enough feed. So just like planning things ahead. But then if you also want to plan on the go, just kind of like look at the last photo you have on your Instagram before you put the next photo, just to know what looks good with what. So yeah, those are my tips for creating a cohesive feed. I know that in this video I've said a lot of things and I've dropped a lot of gems, but if you would like a step-by-step guide on like the photo content creation process, or already created edits that are good for your skin and are good for like the colors in Lagos to help you in creating amazing photos, I actually created a preset guide. It's called the Echo Preset Guide. I just called it the Echo Preset Guide because when I was creating it, I was really focusing on like Lagos and the colors in Lagos and what I like. And what I like in like Lagos and, you know, the colors in Lagos and the skin as well. So they're very like brown girl friendly. They're not going to make you look washed out or crazy or anything. And I also created a guide that tells you what colors or what situations you should use what presets for. So I just really put my heart into this. I created it and put it on my website as a free resource, so you can just quickly click the link in the description box and, you know, purchase this and support me and use it to have cool photos. And just don't forget to like tag me if you use photos, if you make photos using them, because I'd really like to see what your creations are like. And I really hope you found this video helpful if you're a creative or if you're a business owner, because businesses do need to have good photos as well. Let me know if you like this video. You can like, you can leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.